Okay, so this distance here is 325, then this distance here is also 325 feet. This angle is 39 degrees and this angle is 25 degrees. We want to know how tall the building is. Okay, so we're going to create two right triangles. I'm going to draw this top one over here just so it's easy to look at. Well, I should probably draw a better triangle, but there we go. So this angle was the 39 degrees. This distance was the 325. We want to know the height of the water tower. So that's this right here. Does that make sense? Okay. With that, we also have the other triangle. So that's the top half of the water tower. We want to also talk about the bottom half of the water tower. So that's this triangle going down this way. So I'm going to draw that triangle down here. Does that make sense? This angle here is 25. Again, the distance here is 325. I want to find the height here, so that's this right here. Does that make sense? So this triangle is here, and this triangle is what I've drawn there. And together, these two x's make up the whole tower. Does that make sense? Okay, so we're going to start. Very first thing we need to do is label opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse on my triangle. So remember, I put my thumb on the angle, and the part that my thumb touches, the side that my thumb touches, are the hypotenuse and the adjacent side. Okay, the hypotenuse is the side that doesn't touch the right angle, so this is my hypotenuse. This then has to be the adjacent side because it touches the right angle and it touches my thumb. That makes this side the opposite side. The second thing we need to do is circle the two sides that we're going to use. Circle the two sides that we're going to use. Okay, we're going to use the side that I'm looking for. So my x, I'm looking for this side, so I need to use that side. And I'm going to use the side that I have. Which side do I have? The 325. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'm using the opposite and the adjacent side. So we use so, ka, toa, we write it out to identify which trig function I need to use. Sine uses opposite and hypotenuse. Cosine uses adjacent and hypotenuse, and tangent uses opposite and adjacent. Okay, so which trig function am I going to use? Tangent, TOA. Does that make sense? Because it uses the opposite and the adjacent. So I'm going to say the tangent of 39 equals the opposite side of x over the adjacent side of 325. Okay, then I'm going to put this over 1 and cross multiply this times this and bring it down. Times tangent of 39 equals this times this and bring it down. Okay, my x is by itself, so I don't have to divide by anything. I'm just going to plug that in my calculator. So if you have your calculator, get it out. Enter that into your calculator. And I get 363. I'm going to leave it at 363. Not 363, 263, sorry. 263. Just what's written there. And that's feet. So again, that's this distance here is 263 feet. Any questions over that? We need to do that same thing with this triangle. Okay, so everybody set up the equation and try to find x in this triangle. No one in this class. Okay, yeah, we did. Okay, Ramiz, what was the equation that you came up with? Which trig function are you going to use? Okay. So how was it? Tangent of 25 equals what? $325. Very good. This is the opposite side, this is the hypotenuse, and this is the adjacent. I'm going to use these two sides, the one I'm looking for and the one that I have, A and O. So I go over here, A and O is tangent. So I'm going to use both of them will use tangent. I'm going to put this over 1, I'm going to cross multiply and get 325 times the tangent of 25 equals 1 times x, which is x. Okay. So we're going to do 325 times the tangent of 25. And I get 151.5. So I'm going to round that up to 152. So this side here is 152. Any questions? Okay. So we want to know how tall the tower is. The tower is 263 plus 152, which equals 415 feet tall. So the tower is 415 feet tall. It also asked me how high the window is. Okay, the window is right here, so it's the same length as this is. So the window is 152 feet. So the window is 152 feet high. Oops, you can't see that. Any questions over this? We're good? Okay, the next one. Okay, a pilot measures the angle of depression to two ships to be 40 degrees and 52 degrees. And it's the angle of depression. That's looking down. If the pilot is flying at an elevation of 35,000 feet, what is the distance between the two ships? Okay, we're going to draw a picture. I'm going to have my two ships. Then my airplane's in the air. It's brutal here, you guys. You're brutal. Okay? Art is art. Okay? That is a beautiful airplane. Slightly abstract, but okay. You got the idea. Okay? I will practice my airplane drawing for the once a year that I draw an airplane. So this is my horizon. And then I'm going to look down at this airplane, or this boat, and this is 52 degrees. And then I'm also going to look down at this boat, and it is 40 degrees. Okay, the reason why I know which one's which is because 52 is bigger, so it's going to be my closer one. Does that make sense? So from here to here is 52, and then from here to here is 40. Sorry, from here to here, to the horizon, is 52. Okay, we're going to draw our triangles. So here's one right triangle, and here's my other right triangle. Does that make sense? This one here with the 40-degree angle So that's one, the big one. And then I have this smaller one that's right here. Does that make sense? I want to find the distance between the two boats. Any ideas on how I can find those? We do have our elevation. How high up is this? 35,000. And this is also 35,000, right? Because that's how high the plane is to the horizon. Okay, if you notice, if I find this distance here, how far the plane is here, and then if I find the distance from here to here, I could just subtract those two distances to ultimately find the distance between the two boats. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'm going to draw this triangle here. I'm going to draw this. I'm going to separate my triangles. This is 52 degrees. This is 35,000 feet. And then my other triangle is like this. This is 35,000 feet. And this is my X. And this is 40 degrees. Any questions? So we're going to label, again I'm going to put my thumb on it. The side that my thumb touches, that is not the hypotenuse, that's my adjacent. This is the hypotenuse, and this is the opposite side then, because it doesn't touch my thumb. That side does not touch the thumb. We'll do the same thing over here. This is my opposite side, this is my adjacent side because it touches my finger. This is the hypotenuse. Okay, so I need to find the X, so that's my adjacent side. I have the opposite side. So we're going to use SOHCAHTOA. Which trig function am I going to use? Tangent. So I'm going to say the tangent of 52 equals the opposite of 35,000 divided by X, or over X. Put this over 1 and cross multiply. I get X times the tangent of 52 equals 1 times 35,000. I divide by tangent. And I get X equals 35,000 divided by the tangent of 52. So I get X equals 27,345, and that's feet. So that's this distance, 27,345 feet. And that's that one too. Does that make sense? Okay, do the other one. Find the distance for this one. Okay, so let's try this one. Colin, what'd you get? What was your formula? Perfect. Okay, so you're using these two sides, and that's tangent. So you cross multiply. Equals 1 times 35,000. Divide by the tangent of 40. You're going to get x equals 35,000 divided by the tangent of 40. Okay, and I got x to be 41,711 feet. Makes sense. Okay, so from here to here is 41,711 feet. Okay, if I just take away the beginning, the 27,345, then I'm remaining with the distance between the two boats. Does that make sense? So we're going to subtract these two to find the distance between them from here to here. It'll be the 41,711 minus the 27,345. And I got 14,000. Okay. The boats are 14,366 feet apart. Any questions over that? You all good? Okay, let's get our homework out. Get the homework out. We're going to do a couple problems together to make sure you got this. Okay, so this page is your homework, page 14 and page 15. And let's just make sure that's all of it. 14 and 15. 7.5 is 14 through 15. Hopefully, you guys finished your packets. This page, a lot of people forgot to do page 13 or didn't finish 7.4 homework. So remember, you were supposed to do that tonight, and I was going to give you guys another stamp, right? Yeah. Okay. So I'll probably check that on Friday because I don't have time today, which kind of means you actually have another day even, those of you. Okay, so numbers, we're going to start on the word problems from this page. We're going to skip this page because I feel like that's something a little easier. In your packet, oh, that's not good. Okay, I'll print it out, just give me a second. We're going to start on this page. Okay, 7 and 8. These are the two answers for 7 and 8. Try to draw the pictures so you can check your answer. Work together, and if you have questions, please ask.